You've just hatched 90 feet up in the canopy, and your first memory is watching your mother leap away into the open air. There are no instructions and no protection. You are on your own before you even know how to crawl. You don't have the luxury of a slow start. Eagles are already circling the treetops, and they've spotted the movement in your nest. Retreating to the ground is a death sentence. Monitor lizards and civets patrol the leaf litter below, waiting for anything that falls from the trees. This creates a biological crisis. You are a limbless reptile built for the ground, but to stay alive, you have to cross 90 feet of empty space without wings. Survival depends entirely on your ability to instantly override your anatomy and manipulate gravity on your very first attempt. The process begins with a specific J-shaped coil, anchoring its tail to create a spring-loaded launch point. Once airborne, the snake's ribs flare outward, transforming its cylindrical body into a concave wing-like surface, doubling its air resistance. To maintain this lift, the snake begins a rapid side-to-side undulation. It isn't just thrashing, it is mimicking the same motion it uses to swim through water, but using the air as its medium. This rapid S-shape keeps the snake from tumbling. The movement creates pressure changes that keep the flattened body stable and upright during descent. By combining that flattened profile with the timing of its wiggles, the snake can actually exert control over its path, banking left or right to steer toward a landing spot. This is a sequence of mechanical adjustments that determine whether the snake reaches the safety of the next branch or the predators on the forest floor. 20 million years ago, the ancestors of these snakes lived a very different life. They were strictly tree dwellers with no specialized way to bridge the gaps between the canopy. When a predator cornered them, their only choice was a desperate leap. Most of the time, this resulted in a straight, fatal drop to the ground. Natural selection favored outliers. Ancestors with flexible ribs caught just enough air to turn a vertical fall into a diagonal glide, occasionally reaching a lower branch. Over millions of years, the evolutionary tree was pruned. Non-gliders were eaten, while survivors passed on their traits. This left behind a modern lineage that is biologically hardwired for flight. From the moment they hatch, their muscles and skeleton are ready to execute the maneuvers their ancestors died to perfect. This ability is the end result of a million-year survival filter that only allowed the most efficient gliders to move forward. In its prime, an adult flying snake is 40 inches of muscle capable of clearing 330 feet in a single bound. For every foot it drops, it can travel 3 feet forward. But the canopy is crowded. When two snakes want the same launch point, they engage in a test of agility, following each other in a high-speed chase through the air until one lands first, claiming the branch and forcing the slower rival to drop toward the dangerous lower levels. Reproductive success is just as detached. A female will mate, carry her eggs for 3 months, and then deposit them in a hidden hollow. Her investment ends the moment the eggs are hidden. She leaves weeks before the first hatchling even begins to stir. This lifestyle depends on peak physical condition, but a biological body cannot maintain this level of performance forever. By year 8, the muscles that snap the body into that launch shape begin to stiffen. As shown on this graph, maximum glide distance drops off sharply as the snake ages, forcing it to abandon 300-foot flights for cautious, short hops between closer trees. The high-altitude penthouse of the canopy is a temporary lease. Once the snake loses its agility, it is pushed down to the middle floors, where the margin for error is much smaller. Eventually, the math stops working in the snake's favor. It targets a tree frog on a nearby branch, a routine jump it has successfully performed hundreds of times before. But as it leaps, the aging body doesn't flatten quite right. The mid-air wiggle is too slow to catch the wind, and instead of a glide, the snake enters a terminal tumble. For the first time in its life, the snake isn't swimming through the air. It is just a limbless animal falling 90 feet toward a ground that has been waiting for this moment for years. The impact at the bottom is immediate, and so are the predators. The monitor lizards claim the snake before it can even attempt to climb back up. Evolution's only goal was to engineer a machine that could cheat gravity just long enough to pass on its genes. Once that task is finished, the ground inevitably collects its debt.